Hi, everybody. This is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so already. And if you get anything from my work, a connect a dot, an epiphany, a mind explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links are at the bottom of the description. And if you get any inklings to getting new things for your house or cool pyramids with lots of stones, different types. This is fresh out of the mold. This is all flowers, flower skull. Lots of flowers in here. And wood on the bottom. This also just came out of the mold. A big piece of labradorite and citrine with metal and cold gems on the bottom. Pyramids, business card holders. I make different colors. I put gems and not gems. Coasters. Please check out my website, AllyKatzkreations211.com. That's where you can see all this stuff. It's going to be, hopefully by tomorrow, we'll see what happens. Updated on the website with all the new creations that I've been making. Put this over here. Gentle. And yeah. Hi. The Law of One, book 3. We finished. Got my notes right here. But I wanted to read the back. Book 3. The Law of One, my insights, because you can't read it outright. With sessions 51 through 75 provides an exploration of nature and the balance of energy centers of chakras, sexual energy transfers, healing, reincarnation, meditation, and wanderers, psychic attack, ritual magic, and a blueprint for our evolutionary process are also discussed. This is the 40th anniversary version of the book. The back in the day books I don't have anymore. I let other people read them and never got them back. Did not look like that. There's so much going through my brain in the moment. Sorry. I highly recommend reading this book series. There's 5 books for yourself. I have taken a dive into these books 20 years ago, so the information that I'm rereading it again means more to me now than it did back then. Back then, I was just like, I took metaphysics in college and I didn't like the course, but I really loved the topic because I read different books, not explored in my metaphysics class. And just with any book, when you read things in the here and now with the paradigm shifts and things have shifted back 20 years ago, things were way different. And now rereading this book, a lot has come to surface in understanding the social memory complexes, wanderers, energy in general, and the octaves of frequency, sound frequency, vibratory states actually now mean more to me because I actually understand it, comprehend it, understand it, inflect it, and now emote it out to all of you. After the video last night that I ended, quite abruptly. I wanted to talk more on the topics of the hermit's journey, but I started getting very dizzy. I had a dizzy spell. Now, a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, maybe you have an ear infection, or maybe you have vertigo, or whatever. And I thought that for a little bit, but the energy's coming in. Woohoo, a nose upgrade, because I'm okay now. That's not to say that a lot of things that we think is 3D might be our upgrades. Um, I know there are many of us who have it took them forever for people to figure out the ringing in their ear isn't just tetanitis, it's you're upgrading. And when we have equilibrium issues, your brain is being affected. It's upgrading. It's uh, enveloping the strings that are opening up. Not everything can you equate to a 3D issue. Um, and a lot of us are purging out energies. We're clearing out, and that's through this body, all the lives you have lived concurrently, but in different dimensional spaces and densities. So we're going through a lot of stuff in the here and now. So mind you, if I start, I'm just getting upgrades, and it's been quite a couple of days, to say the least. This is a short, usually I have 2 pages, but we're going to stretch it out today. Session 75, October 31st, my favorite day, one of the 1981. I like Halloween, sorry. It's been inverted. And happy first day of fall to those who celebrate Baboon. Um, Gotta stop thinking negatively about everything. And yes, there are negative and positive components, as Ra really introduced polarity, and besides the Kabbalion and the occultists, to people of mainstream spirituality and people who are interested in this, like this is like a bridge to polarity, and understanding it. Ra gives really big definitions. And we got to keep the will of intention that our universe, our reality, the things that we make in our holographic simulated world, our reality, we create it. If you're creating a Halloween that is celebrating that kids can be themselves and just venture to be something other than themselves, and encourage them to actually knock on doors to receive something for free, yeah, it might not be healthy, but it's showing them the faith in humanity. It's showing them how others are giving and celebrating something good, and not taking it to, oh my God, they're satanic and it's taking in the devil and da 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 da. Okay, our brains run there first. Well, I want to redeem holidays, as I feel that holidays are very special. It's a time of gathering in a community, whether it be good or bad. That's what you make out of it. But for me, holidays is a coming together. It might be Hallmark, it might be commercialized at this point in time, but if we go back to the roots, it's coming together in a community and celebrating. What the wrong is with that? Yeah, it sucks for me because I don't have family, and every time the holiday comes around, I'm, missing out in a sense. But I still love and enjoy certain aspects of things that I don't always run to the negative side. I run to the positive because I want to transmute that negative energy. I think coming together and having people explore identities and be empowered to be something fun, what is wrong with that? We've taken it to a whole new level, but if we come to the core roots of, like, even Christmas, oh my God, Jesus was not born, and we're celebrating this crazy pagan holiday. What's wrong with the pagans? okay, every culture has conquered, slaughtered, and butchered people. I get it. Vikings are amazing. That's where my most of my memory, collective memory of other concurrent lives come from. A lot of things come from paganism. When you don't look at it as a negative and you honestly look at it as a positive, the people were only living to the means in which they had, the understanding of the universe that they had. It was experience. When you stop to think of all these things that have been inverted through the ages to be some negative, this is all evil, this has to be eradicated. Well, why aren't you balancing it out with the positive? Remember, I said a bunch of videos. Your mind automatically goes to negative because that's a programming. Everything's satanic, everything is evil. We got to stop doing that. How do you transmute something evil if there's no positive to transmute it in? We're going to get stuck in the evil. Why I tend not to focus on some of the 3D stuff that people present to me. It's not because I don't want to not watch. It's because I'm not trying to feed my energy into something that I am not believing in anymore. I'm just not giving it my energy. It's not being a disrespect. But people take it as an offensive thing that I am just not there anymore. And I do apologize. I'm not here to upset anybody. But I get a lot of videos. People send me a lot of stuff during the day. And unfortunately, I have no more time anymore to do any of those things. And I used to watch and enjoy. Can't do it anymore. Fun things are happening right now. Sorry, I had to pause. Um, Crazy shit going on right now. Anywho, reclaiming holidays, we're taking them back. So this session has a lot to do with the channel. While singing at church, the channel meaning Carla, singing at church and had a distortion, what they call a shank, where an Orion entity came in to attack. They discussed the cause of vibrations when certain resonance is made within a being. With the song played, the Orion entity wished to remove an entity who can come to that state of being to throw off the mass, meaning the church mass. This was like a big lengthy part of this session, which I just condensed right there. Just my perception of what was going on. Which is semi-true to the extent where all the thought forms that have been created through the negative polarity, through people's thought forms, people's thoughts, projections of negativity accumulate into what we call demons and negative, nasty things that inhibit the land. People curse the land and negative things happen. This is why we have sage and we have Palo Santo. We have all types of modalities to clear energy, whether it be super negative to negative or just not vibing. No matter if you want to say church is evil or bad, it doesn't matter. When people are communing in church and any religion, and you're in song, you're in chant, you are in the zone to feel it in your heart space, and the vibration coming out of you is projecting to the right tone, the right resonance, and you hit that mark and you feeling it. You might draw some things that want that light to be distinguished. Why so many light workers, why so many starseeds and people out there feel like they're under attack a lot is because of the purge. And we've been always purging. We're just more cognizant of it now. And we're cognizant now more so of what it is that is attacking us. For many of us, we've seen demons and evil things our whole lives. We could see past the veil to an extent. Regardless of that fact, when you are in communion with yourself, because you are creator, and everybody in mass is joining in on that communion, you may be opening up yourself to things that are of not the greatest things, polarity. So they were talking about how Carla keeps getting attacked, and it's because she's a big, humongous lighthouse. She's no longer with us in the physical. She's a lighthouse. And many of us are the lighthouses now, holding the frequency, holding the grid up. We'll go later on. There's something I'm gonna, circle back to. A lot of you know what that's from. That this first part's going to start making sense a little bit later, but that was the first part of the session. I didn't want to go too much heavy into it because they deal with her getting attacked throughout the entire series and the different reasons why. And back then, they had a little understanding of the components of why certain people get attacked more than others. And it's just about how to self-protect, which there's a lot of modalities that work for some and not for others. You gotta try. And I could get into that after. Maybe. We'll see. This I had a ponder about for a while. The questioner asks about wanderers in this density who hail from fifth and sixth density, who have a high amount of adeptness. When here, is their path differentiated slightly to achieve back to that which they originated? The goal being coming into that frequency in third. So we're already in third, moving into fourth. We're already in fourth for the most part. For many of us, we're here in fourth. And they're asking if the greatest way I can explain this is I've went over this a few times on my channel, but it doesn't harm to repeat. 2017, I want to say, in around, my sixth density higher self came into this vehicle. My third density self went bye-bye. Because of what was coming, because of my mother passing and all the harder lessons that were to be taking place between then and now, my higher density self had to jump in because of the technical difficulties I'd be experiencing. My old third density self would have already went bye-bye. I needed something to come in to save me and to make sure that I would be doing nothing stupid, mature, and spiritually grow. What this is asking is if now more and more people are starting to have their higher density selves jump into them, where mine already jumped in, but now I'm working with my seventh, eighth higher self, density higher self. Is this the state of where I need to be growing my soul in from being here in 4D in this solid mass? Is this where I'm working to, is to achieve back into the higher self that I originally came from? And of course, when you come down here, you have the veil of forgetting. So you don't have the realization or even the knowing that you have a higher self. You have to do a lot of soul searching and a lot of listening to stuff like this to even acknowledge you have a higher self. And that higher self is connected to source. Like the all that is energy. So that's kind of the where the question, that's what I perceive from what is being asked is your soul's the goal taking a form, coming your higher self merging in with you, and what path are you leading yourself back to that higher ended point? And are you taking a different route because you already have done this multiple times in different epochs? Are you taking a different pathway back up in your ascension path? Because the other times didn't work, or they did work, but not, you got to have different experiences in order to have soul growth. So are we taking a different approach to obtaining that higher self status in the higher densities? Ra responds that some wanderers are not even conscious of the work to be done in this present incarnation via the veil of forgetting. A wanderer may be a catcher of the game sphere. I love how he mentions this is a game sphere. Though if the wanderer doesn't perceive the sphere as it's tossed, it will pass by. And I believe this was meant back in the 80s and early 90s and even the early 2000s, that we have the veil of forgetting. So we're on equal playing field, many of us who are in the awareness of what we are in a bigger sense. I don't want to say in totality because we will never know that until we ascend higher. But in this perception in our now moment, if you are aware of your multidimensional selves, your higher selves, your etherical selves, your celestial and all the guides and all the things that are a portion of you, if you're in that awareness, great. And most people are now coming to that understanding. They're discovering their other selves, their guides, and that each and every one of your guides is a component of you. They're just helpers coming down and helping you. You chose to come here from your oversoul. Once you're aware of these things and these little tidbits, that veil unravels. But there are some people still not even in the awakening process that came here just like everybody else, equal playing field, living and experiencing life just like anybody else. And when things are starting to come into the picture for some of us, some people are missing it completely. They're not seeing the signs from the universe. They're not connecting higher up, even though that was what they signed up to do in this lifetime. Not everybody comes into that awareness. Oh, here's Mr. I'm going to jump up. And I'm going to quote from Ron now. Quote, in the case of wanderers would seek to recapitulate the degree of adeptness which each had acquired previous to this life experience, we may note that even after the forgetting process has been penetrated, there is still the yellow activated body which does not respond, as does the adept, which is of a green or blue ray activated body, end quote. This is where many light workers come across the confusion in conscious growth due to the rays of information not matching up with the physical body. Why activation of the chakras is vital in my estimation. So in this third dimensional body, you're activated from your solar plexus. This is the ray that you have been activated and working on throughout your little childhood to now. Your higher selves that jumped in are from a different ray of expression. They're working with your heart and your throat chakra. And the confusion that's been happening within the community is recent, is that you're still in this body form, working with consciousness of a higher grade, and the mind body spirit complex is having a hard time integrating the different rays for your activations. Excuse you, mister. He's very determined today to step on my keyboard. So bad. As I have cards spilling everywhere. Yay. Gotta love little Odin. There's been a lot of confusion in a lot of people right now with conflicting energies, not making sense out of what's going on here and in here. What's going on from your instincts to your heart, to your mind. It's crisscrossy. And we're working on those things right now. Our bodies purging, our energies purging as we're integrating and merging in the higher selves. And I'm pluralizing that higher selves because many of us who already had the walk-in of our higher self from a sixth density, fifth density, depending on what you signed up for, we're working with our seventh and eighth. We're working with our oversoul. We're working with higher density, higher, that are trying to integrate once again within us. And this comes a lot of confusion. And I know for me the other day with the dizzy spins and a lot of the ascension symptoms, a purge has been happening with so many people. This confusion will eventually clear. You're going to get the clarity, but it might tackle in another aspect of your life. You're like, oh shit, I'm confused. So just understand that when you fully have all your rays from all your chakras, that's a ray, working in sync with you, the confusion will be less. And I'm not saying it's not going to be there. I think it will, but we're going in different frequencies and higher frequencies. We're not remaining in those states all day long. It would be overwhelming for us. We're not there yet, but we're upgrading. As these upgrades are happening, you're still in a physical vehicle bound by material space, time, space. We're moving to space, time. So there is going to be a lot of confusion and a lot of energies merging with you, energies purging out of you. It's an ugly time for many of us. That's why I've been saying, please ground, please take care of yourself, change your mindsets, and things will start coming in sync with yourself. I know right now I'm having one of those battles of what the hell is going on in my life, trying to figure out why I'm not getting clarity on divine timing, getting another job. I don't know why it takes my essence so long to manifest something for myself. It's frustrating, but they won't tell me, and I just have to keep going about figuring it out and doing what feels right. Doing what my highest passions are and hoping that it lands on something that will earn me some 3D currency here. But there are a lot of people who do meditation in chakra clearing. You can go to a sound bath. There's a lot of places that do donation only sound baths. You can listen to it online. And granted, well, Elsie, they're using the wrong frequency in the music. Well, how do you know that? Do you have one of those apps that you could throw music in to see what hertz it's at? And if you do, great, tell me. But if not, most people don't. Most people are not music engineers. I sure ain't. I know I've been friends with a lot of them. But if you don't worry about it. You're frequenting higher and higher. We can't, again, stop bringing your mind to everything that's negative. Because I get it all the time. It's a program. Retrain your brain to think positive first. I'm not saying that things don't have negative consequences. I'm not saying that. But if you always go to the negative first and you're not looking at the positives, the pros first, sometimes you get chosen. I'm going to tell you the bad news first and then the good news. Oh, I get it. But when you have the will and intention and know that something is going to help you, try it. If it doesn't mesh with you, change it. That's your free will to change. You don't like something, swipe away from it. You don't have to sit there and negatively bash somebody for doing them, even if you don't agree with it. Why waste your energy on the negative shit? That's what I don't understand. People continuously, unconsciously do this. Let's focus on positivity. I've been having a crazy last 2 weeks at work. Still the beginning of the school year, and technically we're moving now into almost October. Things are crazy. But at the same time, I try to pull whatever positives that we have during the day, and I like to focus on those positive moments than the negative moments. Even though the moments need to be spoken about because things need to be changed, we need to focus on the positive and at least highlight that. Our brains are always trained negative, 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 negative. And it's not to be, oh, everything is sparkle farts and glitter and everything smells like roses. No, it's thinking positive. Are all your past experiences negative? Is that why you're all into the trauma and the suffering because you feed off of that? Or should you feed off of the happy moments and the good memories that you have of your life? If we focus more on those things and the excitement that you had, do you remember your most exciting moment as a child? And it could be a fleeting moment. Not everybody has the greatest of childhoods, but I have to tell you, there has to be a moment of you going outside and seeing a playground that made you so freaking excited. You know what I do in the classroom? I take bubbles out for the kids. They freaking love bubbles. They love bubbles. And to hear the joy and the laughter coming out of them, it fills my heart. And I'm sure as a child, that same feeling of excitement had to happen for you at some point. Find those moments in your life. Remember those moments. So we tend to remember the negative stuff first. instead of finding the positive excitement that we had opening up a birthday gift, enjoying a moment. Find the happiness in your childhood, not the negativity. Yeah, we do need to heal our inner child, but we all focus on doom and gloom. Why can't we focus on happy, elating things that excited us as a kid? Like I found the park and I went on a swing and I was elated. It brought me back to such great memories. I didn't want to get off. Odin says, yes, Mom. No? You said no. I rebuttal that no. What's the matter? I don't know what he wants. The other day, seriously, the other day, I didn't put his treats. I give him in Freya treats at the end of the night. Um, not a lot, just a little like I get home from work and I'm hearing rustling. I'm like, what is that noise? And I'm half asleep. I don't feel good. The bag of treats is on my bean bag. That's usually where I like to do a lot of my drawing and work and reading emails. And he brought the treats and he opened them up, and both of them were eating them as they were spilling out of the bag in my hallway. He's a treat whore. Oh, he has his ball down here. Frey is on the beanbag. Anywho, the joys of my life. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the beginning with the sounds and being in mass and joining in vibratory states. Because Carla was singing at church, and previously, the last session, they were talking about Hebrew and Sanskrit, how when you're pronouncing certain vowel sounds, that when you sing it to or say it or pronounce it to a certain frequency and vibratory state, like you're communing with the creator. That's why in the Keys of Enoch, there's fire letters and most of it's in Hebrew. But he does talk about the other languages, that fire letters and certain vowel sounds that you pronounce properly. This is the key word. And we don't know what those proper pronunciations are. When you hit that state and that frequency of saying those words or those sounds properly, you're in communion with source itself, like all that is, in a totality kind of sense. So Ross speaks about a previous inquiry of Hebrew and Sanskrit sounds, which I want to dive in here deeper. I do want to find what the actual pronunciation is of some of these words, but he will not tell you about them. But quote, when certain sounds are correctly vibrated, the creation sings, end quote. And I thought that was a beautiful quote. And he will not give the notes or intervals of notes to say. He's like, nah, can't say it. The reason being, and this is just what I get channeled, you can read some of the words that were put into the Keys of Enoch. You can. But unless you can recall being in those times, hearing the language properly being spoken in the tone in which people were communing directly with source, not having the layers of density and dimensional spaces intervene in between that sound and vibratory state. Once you reach that state of frequency and being, like you're in it when it chicken dinner in union with source and creation in itself. That sound has to have a frequency, a vibratory state, a tone, and everybody's voice is different. So it's hitting that sound in a frequency, in a length of time, with a duration of expression coming out of your being with the most purest feeling for it, saying it with that highest excitement and pure feeling and emotion emoting out of you, it's screaming out of you into your field. I can't imagine how powerful that feeling is. And when reached, what it actually does. You can look back into the ancient world, into different cultures, to know that they went into they went into caves that reverberated specific frequency and sound for healing and for different modalities of healing and different modalities in general. We have to start recalling, if you were one that had an incarnation in that lifetime, in that space-time linear continuum, dimensional, multiversal space, and can recall what was coming out of you, that would lead to a lot more people understanding the interval, the vowel sound itself, where your frequency and your voice is, how to raise that frequency in pronunciation of those sounds that were in either Hebrew or Sanskrit to get to that emotional phase of feeling it and knowing it's right. And then what comes after it? One can only can imagine the amazingness. To be one in understanding is one thing. To experience it, to feel it is a whole nother level. And I feel that those many of us back in that time frame in linear space-time, we had an understanding of sound and pitch and tone that reverberated out into frequency, into healing, into who knows what kind of miracles and what kind of things were coming out of the people back then. And I'm only referring to back then because most people can refer and understand what I'm saying. If I say concurrently happening right now, what are you talking about? Not here. Crazy, crazy bitch. So if there's anybody who is into sound engineering, is there anybody into like the pure form of Hebrew or Sanskrit that knows how to pronounce the vibratory state and frequency of some of those pronunciated words that they're not telling us, by the way. But if you have the keys of Enoch, that gives you a clue. Please let me know. I'm curious. But I know that each of us have different frequencies and vibratory states that come out of our own vocal cords that project out of our mouth. What note, what tone do we need to say it in? Because I can raise my voice really high or I can go really low. Right? Or this is where they're not getting specific for a reason. But if we had a better understanding of, well, I could say a word a million times, but if I say it in the right tone, in the right pitch, in the right frequency, something might change in the atmosphere around me. That's up to interpretation, but I believe that is the case, and that's a missing component to a lot of work. When you're hearing Tibetan monks do the throat singing, even some of the Old Norse do the throat singing, like that vibratory state coming out of them, you could feel it in the music. Holy crap, it's like mind blowing. I'm very much into that deep throat guttural singing and chanting. But some people might go and listen to the hang on, I'm gonna find the right terminology for it. Gregorian choir music. I like listening to the Gothic industrial versions of that stuff. But the Gregorian chants, I think that's what it is. Or cat meowing, as Odin is like me. Um, so either it's getting to that state in your vocal cords to project that out. And I would like to know, putting that all together, what that looks like. And each individual person has a different depth to their vocal tones and, limitations to that. So was sound different back in those different multiversal distortions of time space? One can only know, but I think it's something to ponder and to look into, especially trying to, get enlightened. And if they're saying, well, if you sing these tones, you're going to be one with Creator, that's fantastic. But that's not giving me specifics. That's saying I could say a word, but if I'm not saying it right, what am I saying? Am I distorting it? Am I drawing in things that shouldn't be here? So that's something that you need to feel it, say it, pronounce it properly in the right vibratory state, tone, frequency, and like be in it to win it chicken dinner. So I'm very curious as to what a human voice, the levels of frequency it can go. I'm not talking about opera singers or a professional singer. I'm talking about the normal day, everyday person who has just a normal voice. Like, what do we need to get to? So just putting that one out there. I think it's something to ponder and I think it's interesting. We're almost at the end of this, and I'm sad. The questioner asked about hair working as an antenna. Now, the Native Americans spoke about this. A lot of nations people do not cut their hair. They let it go completely wild. Uh, Ra responds, as metaphysical nature of time space, which hair at a certain length becomes a type of electrical battery. When such stays charged, one is aided with anomalies in contact. The limit he gives is 4 inches, 4.5 inches, depending on the substance and quality of the hair, nature of the instrument, aka vehicle. That's us. So I only trim my hair. I haven't really cut it, and I do need to. My hair is rather long. It's getting down to the tail end of my back, but my hair is thinning. Um, Everybody's different. And I do believe your hair is a battery and it does pick up static, obviously, charge. It could pick up on things, but I guess it depends on your physicality, your vehicle, and the methods in how you receive your abilities and use your abilities. I'm going to say it like that because everybody is different and everybody's bodies receive information and their surroundings are different. So, can your hair pick up stuff? Absolutely. Is it an antenna in a certain sense? It absolutely can be. But a lot of us have dyed our hair a million times, and even guys, you cut your hair a bunch, or even when you let it grow, we got phases we want to style it differently. And like this is my hair up in a ponytail, but it's not thick. It lost its thickness. Um, I lost my color. Like it oxidizes blonde, but my hair is originally brown. And this is like gray. I don't know. But what I do know is that if you put the belief and have the acknowledgement that your hair is a battery, sure, it works. But I know the Native Americans have that belief, and so does many other cultures, that their hair is connected, is like a root system to the outside, picking up information and dropping it into you. I do believe in that. I don't believe that everybody has that ability, though. And I'm sure to some capacity. Ra, this is quoted. Each entity is the creator. The entity, as it becomes more and more conscious of itself, gradually comes to the turning point at which it determines to seek either in service to others or in service to self, end quote. And that ends book 3. I love that last because that's what we're all determining now. We already wrote the script. You could put in a fine-tuned change because maybe out of nowhere you want to shift polarity and go to service to self, or that you're service to self and now you're like, I'm kind of like freaking out. What's happening on my outside world is not looking pretty for me. I want to shift. There's a lot of catalysts going on in the world right now. Odin isn't concurrent. Oh, someone has a toy. Come give me your ball. Give me your ball. Hey, give me your ball. I play with you. Here he is. I mean, could you say that for animals with the hair? Is their fur antennas, right? Is your fur an antenna for your divine wisdom? We're at this juncture in time space where there's so many catalysts being brought to your outside world for you to determine which you want to choose. And it's a free will choice you can make. You already made the majority of the choices for your soul's direction, but you can change it at any time. I know Dolores Cannon talks about relinquishing your contract and creating a new one if this one isn't working out. But the problem I see in that case is that how do you really know in this 3D consciousness, not talking about your higher selves and all that you wrote, that whatever you broke your contract with is going to be any better? You still have lessons to learn. You still have things to go through. You have trials and tribulations you have to conquer. And what In what component does ripping up your contract going to change anything? You have to change your mindset. Just because I tore up an agreement, well, I don't want to be this anymore. Well, at any moment you can change your mind. Where does your thoughts come from? You could cut the cord and entanglement to anybody that no longer serves you, because some people there's Freya, continuously have an attachment to somebody that keeps showing back up in their life. But what is the lesson they're trying to teach you? What is the lesson you're supposed to get? You're maybe missing it. And they're being annoying and coming back to you because you didn't get the lesson. And their role is to taunt you and trigger you until you learn your damn lesson. It's all perspective. But it's up to you to make those changes in your life. You don't have to rip up a contract you already wrote because you knew you can handle it. You took on shit. Many of us have difficult lives. I was telling my pair the other day, some people make victims out of themselves, and some people actually stop making victims out of themselves. Realizing that everybody has a story and everybody has a difficulty and had some tragic thing happen to them. Some more than others, but that's not to take away from anybody's experience. When someone's like, well, someone has it worse than you. Someone has it worse than you. And someone has it better than me. What's your point? Stop invalidating me. We're so quick to invalidate people because, oh, well, someone in a third country has it worse than you. They chose that experience. I chose mine because I needed to growth. Did I realize it in the moment of saying that? Did you realize? No. We usually don't, and many people just speak unconsciously or out of a narrative program that's been steered in their head. When we stop victimizing ourselves, Ashana Dean talks about the victim and the victimizer. We got to stop. You got to come into neutrality and take ownership of what you wrote for yourself. If you're not aware of all the components, that's okay. No one really is going to be in all fairness in every aspect of their lives and awareness to what they wrote for themselves. You're not supposed to know. That's a part of the veil and the third dimensional space of experience. Without those experiences, you would not have gained wisdom or walked it in order to impart it on others. All of this is for a reason. You wrote it for yourself. It's about figuring out the why. These books are here to help us understand the different complexities to the different realms of experience. It's to help us navigate the choices that we're making and the different aspects of what we are. If we didn't have these channeled books, we wouldn't have a different perspective of what we could have potentially be. They're all perspectives. That doesn't mean it's the end all be all because Ross said it makes it so. No. It's up to you to know if that goes into your heart space and you align with it. Same thing with Bashar or any of the people that are channelers and have specific entities that they channel. Doesn't make their information. Quo says it, Ross says it all the time. Please take what we say. If you align with it, great. If not, throw it out. It's not meant for you. That's the most important aspect of channeling. Is whatever you receive, make sure it aligns with you in your soul, and you'll know that instinctually. And if you're not tapped and in tuned with yourself, find a way to do that. Commune with yourself. Take a day for yourself. It's important. The Law of One, and we have 2 more books to go, is a very complex, hard reading, but it's one that once you understand it, once you get the lessons and the understandings of it, things become a little easier to comprehend. The understandings, there's Aaron Apke does a great job of distinguishing the Law of One. Brian Scott, who has permission to read the Law of One, has done many, numerous, hundreds of videos on the Law of One, and quote. Amazing. There's so many people that are in it to try to help you understand it. And not everybody's perspective is going to match what you want to hear. Or something that I say, you're like, but you hear it again from someone else and it's like, it's an important book. And I feel that a lot of people breeze over it like, it's too complicated. If things weren't hard, everybody would know it. The difficulty is that consciousness is arising and raising up. Now that you are consciously aware and rising up, you're going to start understanding a lot more, and a lot of concepts that 20 years ago that I read, I was like, what the hell is a subdensity? I don't even get this. Now I understand what densities and dimensions are. I've experienced it. I saw it from my own 2 eyes. Now I get it. But 20 years ago, oh my gosh, it was like reading Latin. I didn't understand it. I couldn't conceive, I couldn't project in understanding what any of that stuff meant. The UFO stuff I understood, and so some of the other concepts I did get. But the higher end with the chakras, the rays, the distortions, and the language itself that was being used was like foreign language to me. And I know a lot of this stuff is foreign language to many people. But now you're going to start understanding more and more. So more and more people are adapting to this language. It's maturing. It's finally meeting the energy where it was written all the way back when, and now it's meeting its maturity level where we can all actually stomach and absorb it in the right context, which is so important. Right, big boy? With Freya being such a little girl in the background. They bring me so much joy. And I have a raccoon in Little Thor's outdoor shelter. But there was a kitty in there today. I went outside to do a TikTok and just tapped on it. Oh, that was a raccoon. Hi. Don't know why you're in there. Don't know if you have babies. Don't know. And as long as you don't come out and bite me, you can stay there. I love raccoons and possums, and I think they're adorable and cute. And I had 3 that was visiting, but I had to start taking Little Thor's food in because Little Thor wasn't getting his food. So I leave it out during the day and I take it in at night. And if I see Little Thor coming on my deck, I'll put something out for him. But crazy times. So next time we're going to start The Law of One, book 4. That's going to be really fun. I have more of a better understanding also because I'm in their social memory complex. I'm still trying to figure out what aspect and what density that I share that commonality with Quo, which is Ra also. It's a compendium of different density entities working as one unit to share experiences from the different densities and realms. And we're all merging into this social memory complex. So people of like-mindedness will be able to share learning teachings. When we move up, we get a bigger picture. We're going to be able to come down and aid. This is why they came back. The Ra came back to have a channel write the work down, because he was a part of Egypt and his shit got inverted. It got distorted. The law of one work originated with not just Ra. I'm still trying to figure out their meows. Hi, Freya. Hi, little girl. Sassy tail. Sassy tail. Sassy tail. Father and daughter. This is a first. Co-host 3 and 4. In divine union. Behave yourself. Daddy's leaving. Oh, maybe not. Anywho, I don't have these moments that often on video, so. Yeah, hi. You're adorable. You good girl. You're purring. Good love cats. They're keeping all the bad things away. So we'll see what book 4 has in store for us. This book had a lot of wild awesomeness. Please try, it's a little on the pricey side, but even if you get the PDF versions or read it, it's worth looking into and reading. It's worth the understanding. It's worth acknowledging. And I'm happy that I got back into it, because this is the time is now that we need it. And to understand it and to pluck out what we need to move forward with. Because that's really the most important part, is moving forward, and we're stuck in this. We got to remember the past in order to move forward. And there's a truth to that, but not so much anymore. We need to move forward. And how we do that when we're stuck on the past. Right, Freya? It's like, right, Mama. So, guys, sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, or protective energy. Please go within. Be the shoulder. Be the lighthouse. Seed your truths. Someone has a belly out. Please be the ray of sunshine for somebody today. Please be the light. Please find things that you get to your highest excitement, that bring you joy and unconditional love. your pets, your animals will do that. And if you can't have any because you're allergic, and I all know about the allergies, go into nature and just be. Find your happiness. Find your path. And the path goes in many different ways. But start going and investing in yourself, doing the work on yourself, and making sure that you're protecting your energy and you're feeding your energy things that are positive. And if you're in the service to self, still keep positive as much as possibly can, because that darkness is getting really dark and it's being exposed. And you have a chance to now transmute it and come to the light. So with that, guys, please have a fantastic and beautiful weekend. I hope to see you on the next one, and have a blessed and beautiful day. Bye for now.